are this afternoon's top stories. Nicha B says he just can't wait to perform in Trinidad. VAT threshold raised in St. Lucia, and President Obama delivers final State of the Union speech. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Wednesday, 13th January 2016. I am JD Keynes. In national news.
Feeling very excited right now, to be honest with you. I just can't wait.
That was the 2015-2016 National Groovy Soca and Super Soca Monarch King Nicha Byron, also known as Nicha B, who departed the Federation last night for Trinidad, where he will be competing in the International Soca Monarch. Byron said he is thrilled about being able to represent St. Kitts and Nevis in such a big way.
To me, it's an honor to do this and put my country on the map in such a short time. I never expected, you know what I mean? But you said things come in due time, you know what I mean? So we're just being patient, and now we just gotta go down there and just be focused, keep to my game, and just focus and just trying to bring back home the crown. And there's a lot of people, 70 people, so it's very different to like the whole St. Kitts thing, you know what I mean? So I just gotta keep focused and just go and push myself to the fullest.
Nicha B will be featured alongside Trinidadian soca star Benjai, who traveled to St. Kitts last year to remix the popular Can't Wait song. Benjai then returned to St. Kitts in December and was featured on the Soca Monarch show alongside Nicha B. Carnival chairman Noah Mills was among the persons at the Robert L. Bracher International Airport to witness Nicha B's send-off. He had words of encouragement for the young artist.
We are sending him off with great expectations. I know he's talented. I know he can perform. I must take the moment to admonish him, though, that he's stepping into a bigger arena where the performers there may have great experience. They may have been in it longer, but it doesn't say in any way, in any constitution, that a newcomer can come out victorious. So I take the opportunity, and I'm humbled by the fact that I'm representing the Carnival Committee, to say congratulations and do us proud.
Later today, resident Taiwanese ambassador, His Excellency George Galway Chu, senior and junior health ministers, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton and the Honorable Wendy Phipps, and Attorney General, the Honorable Vincent Byron, will participate in a computer equipment presentation to the Joseph and Franz General Hospital. According to a preliminary release, the computer equipment presentation will be used to facilitate the upcoming launch of Hospital Information System project, which is being rolled out by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the Republic of China on Taiwan. We'll have more on that event in tonight's newscast. Canada-based television business specialist Jelani Daniel has authored and released his first book, which is titled Forward March Life Quotes. Daniel is a licensed auto sales consultant and the creator of Forward March Leadership. The now much sought-after motivational speaker has built a movement of inspiration which sets as its foundation behavior towards others. It is not guarded by race, wealth, or education. Daniel is quoted in a news article as saying, "I am someone who believes in changing the world through ideas and action. I believe in the power and strength of the human spirit, a life lover. My writings are my way of sharing my journey in hopes to inspire and motivate others." Daniel is set to be the featured speaker at the 2016 Toronto Caribbean Business Expo on Sunday, April 24th at the Pearson Convention Centre in Brampton, Ontario. Presented by the Toronto Caribbean Newspaper and Jamaica National Building Society, or JNBS, the Toronto Business Expo brings together people interested in doing business with the Caribbean or the Caribbean community and explore the opportunities for profit and collaboration. The 2015 Expo attracted more than 60 exhibitors and more than 1,000 attendees. Daniel was born and partly raised in Brooklyn, Nevis, to Nivision parents Ursel Daniel and Lindsay Lloyd. Regionally, we begin in St. Lucia. A number of small businesses and professionals are expected to benefit from the adjustment of the value-added tax revenue threshold. When the House of Assembly met on Tuesday, it proposed the value-added tax amendment bill, which will increase the threshold from $180,000 to $400,000. Here's more.
Local businesses which make less than $400,000 per annum will now be exempt from remitting value-added tax. Government announced that it was mulling over a $220,000 increase in the VAT threshold in May 2015. At the time, the Prime Minister said it would mean that over 600 VAT registrants will not be required to collect the tax on behalf of the government. He said government recognized that these smaller registrants were continuously seeking filing assistance from the Inland Revenue Department, and some had requested deregistration.
What it does mean is that a lot of small businesses, a number of small businesses do not therefore have to register for the value-added tax, or if they currently register, can now deregister. However, I want to make it very clear to our members that there are some small businesses who would prefer to continue their registration under the value-added tax because they would want to claim the input VAT into their whatever goods and services that they offer.
The Castries South East MP spoke on the issue of deregistration, while the Castries Central MP explained that some small business owners have the wrong idea about just what VAT registration entails.
I want to know whose discretion it is that you can be registered as a VAT entity, whether you make the 400,000 mark or you are below it.
You are VAT certified. It only means you are collecting money on behalf of government. But you see, there's this misapprehension and misconception that VAT collection is a manner to unjustly enrich yourself. So when persons make noise about not being registered, it is because they believe that they will collect the VAT money and never turn it up to government.
Requests for voluntary registration will continue to be considered in order to ensure that small manufacturers and other sensitive businesses falling below the threshold are not disadvantaged.
Investors who gain citizenship by investment into Antigua and Barbuda will be allowed to pass on that citizenship to their children without charge after 5 years, fulfilling all requirements. The announcement was made by the Acting Chief Executive Officer, or CEO, of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, Thomas Anthony, during the second session of the inaugural Citizenship by Investment Program Summit. Anthony explained that citizenship is conditional only for the first 5 years. The first passport is issued for 5 years with some conditions attached, he said. Once you would have met these conditions, such as owning the investment for 5 years, coming to Antigua, pledging the oath and keeping a clean criminal record, or of course, then your new passport is issued for 10 years and you become a citizen like me, he added. A final decision has not yet been made for before the 5-year timeline. However, the CIU's policy recommendation to the government is that main applicants are allowed in the first 5 years to attach a dependent, whether it be a spouse or minor children, to an application that would have been approved. Anthony explained that only a small percentage of the applicants that come to the unit are denied. A Canadian company looking to invest in Guyana says there might be a solar energy solution to solving the Guyana Water Incorporated, or GWI's, high electricity dependence. Here's more.
The Canadian company, which goes by the name Greenheart Tree Energy, believes it could help GWI improve its water purification effort and use of solar energy to reduce its electricity consumption. CEO Esmond Klaas said the company might be young in existence but has years of experience in the area of solar energy.
And we have, I would say, among the owners themselves of the corporation, we probably have another 150 years of experience, all successful CEOs in their own rights. This is a call by the president, answering a call by the president to come in. So if you basically, although it's a new company, just started a year ago, this company has got a breadth of experience in everything that we're doing right now. So I think we could get it as fast as possible. I think that if we'll have to do design, make sure everything is fine. We are not here to do a shoddy work. So fast and quick is important, but the most important part of that equation is getting it right.
According to the engineer, Christopher Langford, the alternative use of solar energy can see GWI's 20 substations around the country being able to generate its own power and not be affected by GPL power outages.
The intended purpose is not to replace the entire existing generation facility. That we need that. We still need that. The solar systems are a supplement to that. So they're an assistance, so that if one of the bank of 3 generators at the station is having issues, they don't have to worry about taking the entire grid down because we're supporting from the other end. Our long-term goal is to secure the construction of a number of these facilities and maintain and operate them under the BOOT system that the government has proposed. What we'd like to do is bring components into Guyana and build an assembly facility so that we could produce panels in Guyana for Guyana and also export that to the rest of the Caribbean.
The Greenheart Tree Energy Company is a partnership among several Guyanese and Canadian investors who met with GWI's CEO Dr. Richard Van West Charles on Monday. The group also presented a sample of one of its products to the water company's CEO.
Internationally, President Barack Obama has defended his legacy while striking an optimistic note for America's future in his final State of the Union address. More in this report.
President Obama called on Americans to take an optimistic attitude towards the country's future in his final State of the Union address. He was highly critical of the current tone of the presidential nominee debate.
When politicians insult Muslims, whether abroad or our fellow citizens, when a mosque is vandalized, or a kid is called names, that doesn't make us safer.
Obama then listed a number of issues that still need to be addressed.
I will keep pushing for progress on the work that I believe still needs to be done. Fixing a broken immigration system. Protecting our kids from gun violence. Equal pay for equal work. Paid leave, raising the minimum wage. All these things still matter to hardworking families.
As Obama defended his legacy, the reality is, with just 1 year left of his presidency, there is little time to achieve anything substantial.
10 American sailors who were detained by Iran after their naval ships strayed into Iranian waters have been detained by Iran after their naval ships strayed into Iranian waters. The naval boats were captured and the Iranians demanded an apology from the U.S. in order to grant release to the sailors. Here's more.
The U.S. Department of Defense have released video showing the type of U.S. Navy boats seized by Iran. In it can be seen riverine boats that are 38 feet long, high-speed patrol boats used by the U.S. Navy and Marines to patrol rivers and shallow waters. 10 U.S. sailors had been on 2 riverine patrol boats when they were taken into custody after entering Iranian territory. After an apology from the U.S., the 9 men and 1 woman have been released, according to Iranian authorities. A senior Iranian naval official said on television that the authorities were satisfied that the 2 U.S. Navy boats that crossed into Iranian waters did so unintentionally and as a result of a mechanical problem. The United States said the ships were en route from Kuwait to Bahrain at the time and seized near Farsi Island. According to the Pentagon, it lost contact with the vessels in the Persian Gulf on Tuesday after they were seized by the Islamic Republic's Coast Guard.
At least 14 people have been killed and 20 wounded as a suicide bomber strikes near an anti-polio vaccination center in Quetta City, Pakistan. More in this report.
At least 15 people, mostly police, are said to have died as a suicide bomber struck outside a polio vaccination center in the Pakistani city of Quetta. The blast ripped through a police van which had just arrived to provide an escort for health workers. Another 25 people were reportedly injured. The militant group Jandullah, which has links to the Pakistani Taliban and has pledged allegiance to the so-called Islamic State, has claimed responsibility. Islamist attacks on the anti-polio campaign had declined last year after a peak in 2014. The extremists say the vaccination program is aimed at sterilizing children and a cover for Western spies. Pakistan and Afghanistan are the only 2 countries left where the disease is still rife.
And now taking a look at the weather, temperatures today will peak at 75 degrees Fahrenheit as a light breeze blows from the northeast at 9 miles per hour. The weather forecast predicts mostly sunny skies in general, becoming locally cloudy with a slight chance of a brief shower this afternoon. Tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with a slight chance of a light shower. Seas are very rough with swells up to 10 feet. Marine warnings remain in effect for small craft operators and sea bathers for hazardous sea, mainly in the Atlantic Ocean east of the islands. Sunset today will be at 5:55 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:38 a.m. And that brings us to the end of ZIZ's Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. I have been your presenter, JD Keynes. Have a great afternoon.